We're back in American Truck Simulator version 1.59 in its brand new Illinois DLC. And in this video I've collaborated with the absolute best in the industry, Pizzter Modding, with an all new mod installation guide, showing you everything you need to know to get your game equipped with the very best trucks and trailers in ATS fact. Want to know more? Of course you do. Let's go to Chicago right after this. If I was to say to you what are the very best names in the automotive industry, you're probably going to say names like Ferrari, Bugatti, Porsche, McLaren. But if I was to ask you what the very best modified trucks in American Truck Simulator are, then I can guarantee that one of the first names that's going to spring to your mind is going to be Pizzter Modding. This is the Pizzter Modding 389, and this is simply my favourite truck in American Truck Simulator and has been for a very long time, and I highly recommend this truck to anybody. You're probably going to ask yourself, well, why do I need a modified truck in American Truck Simulator? Well, ask yourself, if you pass your driving test, of course you're going to start off in a very basic car, but you're going to start to want to have something far better, or even the very best. What we are in here is the Ferrari, the Bugatti, the Porsche and the McLaren of American Truck Simulator, because this is just simply exceptional. Not only in the way it drives, the way it sounds, the way it looks, but just simply everything. If I just look around the interior of this, the detail in this is just absolutely exceptional. It sounds epic. If I put my foot down there, they can hear the wastegate chatter there as well. It's just simply outstanding. If I go onto the roof of the vehicle just here, and again, put my foot down again so you can hear that roar of the incredible Z-Mods engines that I also have installed with this. You know, this is just simply next level. Now in this video, we've already covered the graphical modification guides in previous videos, and I'll leave those linked at the end if you haven't already seen those, as to how to install Reshade, how to get Simuverse installed, which is the Simuverse reshades, and we are also using the Simuverse reshades in this particular video here that you can see now. The Simuverse reshades just simply add an overhaul to the actual volumetrics of the game, also as do the incredible Snowman lighting improvements as well. As you can see, just going past there guys, there is a subscribe button. Make sure you do like, subscribe for more. But in this video, what we're also going to be doing is we're going to be showing you how to obtain the Pizzter Modding vehicles, how to install ModGuard, how to get the load order correct, so you can also get your game looking absolutely next level like this. On the subject of next level, you can also grab yourself an incredible 30% discount off all Pizzter Modding modifications, including this Pizzter 389 Mega Pack, and also the incredible trailers that are available as well, the Rogers 55-ton lowboy and the weird step deck that I'm using in this particular vehicle right here and now. You can use the link in the video description to get 30% discount, and also use the code Nextlevelsimgaming at the checkout, and you can get these incredible discounts and get your game simply looking outstanding. What we're going to do now, we're going to dive over to a different weather scenario. As always, I'm going to show you how this vehicle looks in the rain, and then we're going to be taking a look around the vehicle, and then we're going to be going straight into the guide. So as we head further into Illinois, of course, we are driving along and we are in Pizzter 389 still. And the true test of the modified truck is how do things look in different weather conditions. And you can see here that with this rain, which is thanks to the new Project Next Gen Roads 2.0 updates, everything just looks absolutely exceptional. The rain on the side glass just there, the way that the spread happens on the actual windscreen just there too, and it's second to none. If I move my head around, you probably already noticed I can completely look around here, and that's thanks to also the amazing Tobii Eye Tracker 5, and there are links in the video description where you can get a discount from the Tobii Eye Tracker 5 at the moment, as well as the incredible graphical overhaul of the game that I've shown in previous guides, including this one. The absolute must equipment for American Truck Simulator has to be a Tobii Eye Tracker 5. Now you're probably going to say there are other eye trackers available too, but none of it do it as good as what Tobii do. Tobii is the only eye tracker that also has eye tracking and head tracking, so I can also just look straight forward and glance to the right, glance to the left. I don't have to move my head I've also got this amazing roll feature that you can see here. It gives me incredible 6 degrees of freedom to be able to look completely round in this modified truck. Now we've seen the different scenarios at play here. We've seen the amazing Pizzter 389 up and running. We can see that it looks exceptional in all weather conditions. Let's have a quick look around the truck, and then we're going to get straight into how to obtain this truck, how to obtain the Pizzter trailers, how to install them correctly, how to install ModGuard, and we're going to get you looking like this in your game too. Many people ask me what is the best modification you can get in American Truck Simulator. The first thing I say to them every single time is get yourself a high quality modified truck and get yourself a Pizzter 389. All the people I've recommended to purchase this truck have come back to me and said, you were absolutely spot on. You were completely correct. They've commented not only on the way that the truck feels and drives and, of course, sounds, but also the high number of customization options that also come provided with this truck. In the next section of the video, I'm going to be showing you how to obtain this truck from Pizzter Modding. Remember, you can also get a 30% discount off the truck by using the discount code Nextlevelsimgaming. The link's in the video description also. But more importantly, the load order that everything needs to sit in, I'll be showing you how to install the modification correctly and also some trailers too. Then I'm going to be showing you how to use Mod Guardian because the truck is protected by an application called ModGuard, and that is completely important. It will not work without using that, and it's obviously to prevent piracy. And of course, it's reassuring for you as well because, of course, you've spent good money on this, and obviously you want to make sure that nobody else can get it by illegitimate means. I'm showing you on screen as well at the top here some screenshots as well, which I put on social media sites. And the amount of comments that I get back from these are just second to none. People are saying, how do you get a game looking like that? That just looks absolutely amazing. And of course, it all boils down to this exceptional modified truck. Without any further ado, let's dive straight into the guide and let's show you everything you need to know to get your truck, get your game looking absolutely next level. The first thing we need to do is head over to the Pizzter modding website where we can grab our truck and trailer. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to install the Pizzter modding 389 and also the Rogers 55-ton flatbed trailer. The same process applies to all the trailers too. You can also remember grab yourself an incredible 30% discount by using the discount code Nextlevelsimgaming. Let's get the truck, let's get the trailer, and let's show you how it's installed and get everything up and running quickly. So once you've completed your purchase, in this purchase we are buying the Pizzter 389 custom mega pack and also the 50-ton lowboy. You can see here that the 30% discount's been applied, and once we've purchased, we then need to head over to our Access downloads. We can then download the files that we then need. So once you've selected the Access downloads tab, you'll then be taken through to a login page. This is the email address and the password that you use to complete your purchase. You need to make sure that you save these details because they will be required also to install Mod Guardian to verify the purchase within the game. Once we've logged in, it will then take us through to this page where you can then access all your downloads. So once we've reached the downloads section, you'll see all of the purchases that you've made appear in here. In this video, we're going to be showing you how to install the 389 Peterbilt custom mega pack and also the Rogers lowboy trailer. This is the freight version that we're going to be using. Of course, the difference between the freight version and the no freight version is the fact that the freight version also contains all of the vehicles that you carry on the back of the trailer. I'm not going to be showing you anything relating to skinnable logos. I leave that to my friend Paul, aka Paul's Custom Skins. There are links to Paul's incredible YouTube tutorials in the video description as well, so you can go and check those out if you want to then add these options into the game too. The first thing we need to obtain, of course, is the main truck file. We do that by selecting either the US or the EU, whichever region we are in. We are going to, of course, select the EU for myself. I'm in the UK. And then we need to then go through and select all of the relevant options that we need to be able to add into the game too. You can see that as I click on each one, a download has started just at the top. I'm going to leave the Canadian skin and also the Christmas wreath out of this guide. There are also the other options available such as the Idaho yard. I'm not going to be showing you that installation in this particular video, but we are going to be installing the various trailers and everything that come with it. Once we've downloaded everything that we need, we can then simply move on to showing you how to add these into the game. We'll then come back and we'll add the Rogers lowboy pack into there as well. The first thing we need to do is we need to then add our downloaded files into the base folder of the game, and to do this we select the file explorer from the desktop. We select downloads, and you'll then see the downloaded files that we just obtained from a Pizzter modding website will appear in here. We then need to open up the mod folder in our game. To do that, we then simply select File Explorer again, and I've opened a new window here so you can see things easily. And then we then select the Documents folder, or tab, from the right hand side. You can see here that we have American Truck Simulator, which is a game we're focusing on here. And then we should have a mod folder. If there isn't a mod folder, you need to right click and create a new folder. And then you then need to name it mod, all in lowercase. We're going to open our mod folder, and you can see here that I have a number of modifications already installed into the game. To add them in, all we need to do is simply highlight them, and then we need to drag them across and drop them into here. And you can see here that I already have some files already installed relating to this. I'm going to then simply replace the files in the destination. Once we've done that, then all of our files are added in. We can then move on to show you how to actually install them within the game itself. Once we've launched back into American Truck Simulator, you'll see on the homepage we have a section which is called Mods. If you are familiar with mods through either Steam Workshop mods or external mods, then this will be more than familiar to you. If not, then I'll show you from the very beginning what we need to do. We need to first of all select the mods, and then we will then launch into the mod manager. Whether you are familiar with modifications or whether you are not, you may be familiar with the mod manager from some Steam Workshop modifications you may have, or you may also have some other paid modifications as well that you previously added in. I'm showing on screen now an example of how the load order works within the game, and this is the load order that I've used for many years now and never had any particular issues with it. But remember, you may have to move some modifications around if they are not showing within the game, because the load order is essentially the most vital part of the game. And if this is done incorrectly, then you'll have modifications not showing or textures not showing correctly, or you may even experience game crashing if things aren't organized correctly. Map modifications tend to be the most complicated ones, and they can cause the most problems when migrating and upgrading the game. Many users I have noticed have had issues with upgrading to 1.59, in particular with the Alaska map, for example. So I'm starting from the very beginning here by showing you how to install modifications and the load order that I use. But remember, the Pizzter modifications also have a very specific load order, and I'm showing that on screen here now, and we're going to be following that load order. On the left you can see the example of that just now, and I'll show you this on the right hand side as we progress further down. First of all, starting with sound modifications, so at the top of the load order we have the interior sounds of a Peterbilt 389, so this is the sounds that were required for the actual Pizzter that we are installing here today, first of all. And then further down we have other ones that come included with the actual mod pack, so these are obviously the additional ones that you need to make sure are at the very top of your load order. Further down, these are optional ones that I've installed, so I have some Z-Mod sound modifications for the actual CAT engines in the game as well. And then scrolling further down again, we have some Slav Jerry engine sounds for some other truck modifications that I have installed. We then move on to high graphical quality modifications, so these will then sit below the sound modifications. I have the Project Next Gen Roads 2.0 that I mentioned earlier in the video, and then we also have below this, we have other high quality graphical modifications as well. There is a Real Companies and Billboards one as well, which also is a high quality graphical modification, and it must sit above obviously all the other ones too. I then have the Pizzter files installed below these. The reason I have them installed below is because they are simply the highest graphical quality modifications in the game, with the exception of the ones just shown there. The one here is a skin. With the exception of this, all the other ones are shown in the load order on the left hand side of the screen you can see here. All we do is we simply will add our modifications in by highlighting the modification and selecting the right arrow, and that will then add the modification onto the right hand side here, and you will then simply need to increase or decrease the priority situation of the actual modification we've added to make sure that everything matches the left hand side order shown by Pizzter. We need to make sure that everything matches exactly. If it doesn't match exactly in terms of the priority load order shown on the left hand side of the screen, then you will experience crashes and things won't work correctly. So you need to go through all the modifications that you're adding in, and you need to make sure that they all match up. Now, some of these are additional files that aren't included with the actual Pizzter 389. Some of these are ones that have been purchased in addition to that from the Pizzter website. You can see here that we also have a Rogers 50-ton lowboy. The definition file must sit above that, and then the base file sits below. And you can see this is also protected by ModGuard, as are all of the other modifications supplied by Pizzter Modding. So obviously you need to make sure obviously that you have these in the correct load order, and I'm going to now move on to show you how to actually use ModGuard to unlock these modifications. If you try and use these modifications without having ModGuard run, then the game will simply crash and will not work correctly. Any wheel modifications outside of these need to sit below, and then we also have some additional trucks by John Ruder just sitting below this as well. I have everything outside of the Pizzter modifications below this, because the Pizzter modifications, as already stated, are the highest quality graphical modifications running. Once we're happy with everything and it's installed correctly, we need to then confirm changes, and then we can show you how to install ModGuard, and we can come back into the game to check that everything's working correctly. We then need to head back over to the Pizzter modding website. We need to log back into our account, and at the very top, once logged in, you will see there is an attention highlighted here. Please ensure that the Mod Guardian plugin is installed. Now, without this Mod Guardian plugin, then simply the game will not run and the game will crash consistently, because the Mod Guardian is required to make sure that the mods will work correctly. Now, to do this, we need to simply then click on the link here to download the file, and you can see once again download has started. I'm then going to show you how to install Mod Guardian. It's really simple and takes literally a matter of a few moments to do, and once we've got this, we can head back into our game to do that. But remember I mentioned about adding the Rogers Lowboy trailer pack in, so before we run ModGuard, we need to also make sure that we add the Rogers main freight file, and we can do that by clicking on the download link again and selecting that to download. And also we have the relevant other sections that we need in here. We need to also add these files in, and also the open definition file, and also the light pack for the trailer as well. So this is also a step that confuses many people, but I'll show you a real simple way to do it on your desktop. You need to create a new folder called ModGuard. To create a new folder, you simply right click and then go to new folder and then create the folder, and we then name it to ModGuard, as you can see here. Now this folder is empty at the moment, there's nothing in there, but what we're going to do is we're going to go into our download section where we have the Mod Guardian, which we just downloaded from a Pizzter modding website. We then simply need to right click on this and extract all. It will then create a window which will appear, and then we need to browse, and I've got the folder on the desktop. I've called it ModGuard, as you can see here. We then select that folder, and then we then select extract. You'll then see that the contents will then appear within here, and we can then disregard the download folder, and we then need to concentrate on this section just here. So we then need to double click on Mod Guardian version 2, and a new pop-up window will appear, which will look like this. And then we then need to enter our email address that we use to verify our purchase, and also our password. And then we need to then log in. A new window will appear, and we need to then simply click on install plugin, and then simply it will then pop up saying the plugin has been installed successfully. With version 1.59 came some changes, as with all updates, and in this change has been a significant one that works in relation to modified vehicles. The easiest way to mitigate this is by, normally you would have to change the buffer page size to a larger value. Previously it was set to 10 as default, whereas if you wanted to add modified trucks and vehicles into the game, you would have to change the page size to a larger value, normally of 30 or above. That's no longer necessary, and the easiest way to mitigate this issue is to actually delete the config file and let the game rewrite a new one if you're having issues. To locate this, go to the Documents folder, and then we need to look at American Truck Simulator, and if we then scroll down, you will see a notepad file which is called config.cfg. If we then right click and we delete that, the game will then create a new one when we next launch the game. You'll need to set some graphical settings up again, and also any wheels or accessories that you have attached to the game, but it's also a good way of mitigating any crashes or issues that you may have. If you are experiencing any crashes or issues, then this is the first step to do. If you're not having any issues, then leave this as it is. So the final step is we need to sense check everything is installed correctly and our load order is correct. On the left hand side of the screen, I'm showing you the load order that's being supplied by Pizzter Modding, and if we scroll down to the relevant section just here, and you can see as I compare things moving down here on the right hand side of the screen to everything that's shown on the left hand side of the screen, everything appears in the same load order. Now remember that I also added the Rogers 50-ton lowboy in. That's done in exactly the same way by downloading the relevant files and dragging them and dropping them into the mod folder under documents, as I showed you at the beginning of the video. And once we've added those in, you can see on the left hand side of the screen it correlates in the same way. Moving further down, I now have all the other trucks added into here and all the other modifications from Pizzter Modding. And once we're happy that everything is installed in the right place, we can then simply then proceed to actually move on to installing the truck into the game and setting our truck up. So once we've got the truck added and we're happy that all the mods are installed and Mod Guardian is installed correctly, the first thing we need to do is we need to find out how to purchase our truck. To do that, we then need to head down to services, and we then need to go to truck dealers, which is on the tab here. And then we then need to select access mod dealer, which is down here on the bottom. And this is another section where people get very confused and don't know how to actually purchase a truck within the game. Select Access Mod Dealer. You'll then see the available trucks on the left here. So we have the Peterbilt, and I also have a John Ruder one, which is just here. But the one we're interested in is obviously the Peterbilt. It appears as EXHD to classify it as the model that we're looking for. And then we then highlight it, and then we select Customize Configuration. So of course it's going to take you some time to get your truck looking exactly how you want it, but let's just run through the basics to show you how it's done. On the top left here, we have the different cabin types. So we're going to scroll down, we're going to find the one that we like the look of. So we're going to go in this instance for a sleeper cabin, which is the one here. And then the next type, we then select the chassis, and then we're going to scroll right down to the bottom. We're going to have the long wheelbase option just here. And then next we choose our engine. And you can see here we've got various different engine types available. And also we have the Z mods installed for the ones where we have the actual custom sounds installed. So I'm going to select in this instance one of the Z mods. One, we're going to go for the 800 horsepower tuned. Why not? Let's make it an absolute beast. The next stage we need to choose is obviously the actual gearbox. So we're going to go for, in this example, the Eaton Ultra Shift here, which will be a nice match for that particular engine that we've chosen. Next we choose paint jobs. And I'm going to show you how to install a custom one. So if you get the master modder Paul from Paul's Custom Skins, for example, to show you how to create your own skin, you need to add that in using the section just here. So I've got the Nextlevelsimgaming or Nextlevelsim Trucking logo on here. Thanks to Paulie from Paul's Custom Skins who made that one for me. It's absolutely exceptional. I'm going to choose my custom site colors, which are here, and just move it across to make it something a bit more like it, which is there. Next, we need to then select from the tab at the top, just here, the accessories. So this is where we really start getting into the detail, so we can get really detailed with everything, and we can obviously then add numerous different options available and get really down to the detail again. So I'm going to have some horizontal bars just on here, some grill slats, and I'm going to choose that one there, which is the one that I currently have and I really like. And then, for example, if we go on to some of the side, fender trims just here, we start building everything up. I'm not going to put everything on here because of course you can spend hours doing this. What I'd also highly recommend that you do as well is you save at various points during this and then come back into it just to make sure that you obviously remember everything that you've done. And then we're going to choose the old school ornament on here, which is another one that I like, which is this pinion just here. And we then simply then move on to doing our wheels. So I've actually got the Jasper's wheel packs installed, which is ones I really like too. I'm just going to choose one of those here. We'll just choose that one as an example, and then we do the same on the rear again. So we've got to choose a suitable one from the ones we just showed just there. I've got lots of wheel packs installed here, as you can see, including some really nice con bar ones here. But I'm just going to choose some that just look suitable. So we'll go for the standard ones there and basically choose those. And you basically build it up so you can obviously customize everything into exactly how you want it. And then we move on to the interior. So if we move on to the interior, of course, it's really customizable. Again, there's lots of different things we can do here. We can add wall smelling lights. We can add all sorts of different things. It's going to simply change the steering wheel here. We'll choose this one as an example. And also we can also change the actual shifter. So we'll do a large shifter here just to show you as an example. And we can change the adding the various different accessories in here, and we can change the type of seats that we have. So we'll have the Peterbilt ones just here as an example. Again, we'll change those for the luxury legacy ones. So you can spend hours and hours changing things to your liking, and of course we all do. And once we're happy with everything, just change this just to add one additional feature in here, just as a finishing point. Once we're happy with that, and let's just pretend that that's everything we want it to be, we'll then simply click on purchase, and then we can add that into our garage. You find the available slots. Before you actually do get to this stage, before you even start modifying your truck, just make sure that one of your garages does have an available slot, otherwise you can spend hours doing it. And I've done this before, and then you then realize you don't have an available slot to allocate it to. So here's my brand new garage in Chicago. I'm just going to add that into here, and you can see that that will appear there. We then need to then go back to the home page again, and then we then need to go into company, truck manager. If we scroll right down to the bottom, you'll see that our new truck that we created will be in here, and then we simply select drive it, and then we then are in our truck and we can get embarked on our journey. So of course we've got our truck, we're embarking on our journey, but without our trailer, it's going to be not a very long journey. So the first thing we need to do next is we need to then buy our trailer. We do this by going onto the services menu again, and we select trailer purchase from the bottom just here. On the left hand side, you'll see all the various different trailers that we have available. The one we've just installed is of course the Rogers, and we then need to select the tab on the left to select the Rogers one we've just put in there, and there are various different chassis options available. But the one we're interested in is of course the big boy, which is going to be the low boy double. Select this one, and then we need to go once again to customize configuration. And you can see here that as a default, the trailer is exceptional, but of course we're not going to be happy with those wheels. We need to first of all change a few things on here again. The options are fairly limited, so we have a single or we have a double available. We're going for the double as we've already mentioned. The actual deck here is, in this example, one type. We then have the different triaxle trailer configurations, and we're choosing this one with the booster rear pin. So it's got the separate rear section on the end just here. On the left hand side here you can see we've got all the various different color options, and we're going to go on the color changeable, and we are simply going to match it up to our truck in the best way possible. So we can change all the different sections as you can see here, and to change the different sections we just need to select the slider just here. We can simply customize all of these different sections to how we would like, but of course we're just going to make it pretty much all the same. We could actually just do one base color, which is just here, which is far easier, or we can do a custom color for the whole single trailer, which is what we're going to do in this example to try and make it match up the best as possible to our truck that we created. You can see here it's highly detailed again. We've got all the labeling and everything on here, and the quality of this is just exceptional. It never ceases to amaze me how good this actually does look on the actual truck itself. Of course, we're not really happy with those wheels and want to choose something a bit more spicy to go on there to make it look better. So again, we've got the Jasper's wheel packs, and I'm going to choose matching wheels for our trailer to make it all look uniform, and we select those. And of course we've got lots of wheels on here, so we need to make sure we select all of them, make them matching. And you can see that looks far better already, but of course we might also want to get some polished tires on there to give it a bit of extra bling. So we can do that as well, simply by clicking on the tires, and then we're selecting the polished options just there as well. Once we're happy with all of that, we can go onto the back, and we can then add additional accessories in, so license plate for example. And we then need to select our license plate, mud flaps, all sorts of different various options you can choose again, and it really is pretty much endless in terms of the modifications these Pizzter trucks have, and trailers as well. If we want to change our license plate again, we simply select here, we'll find the relevant location, which is here, and let's put a Hawaii plate on there, why not? So again, you can spend hours simply making it exactly how you want it. There's lots of different things you can do with it. We can have banners on stands, all sorts of fantastic options available to make it look absolutely awesome. So there we are, we have all of these options for now on here. I'm not going to spend much longer just going into it. It's just a very quick demonstration. Again, to add that into our game, we simply need to purchase it, and then we need to select a garage. Let's put it in Chicago so it sits alongside our truck. We purchase it, and then that will then be delivered to our garage. So a huge thank you for watching, and there are also some links here where you can also find some additional videos that will help you get your game looking truly next level. A massive thank you to Pizzter Modding for providing all Next Level Sim gaming viewers with the incredible discounts. You can also find additional details on that in the video description. And finally, a massive thank you to the regular channel contributors, Mo, aka Mo Skinner, who's a fantastic Steam Workshop modifier, and also Paul from Paul's Custom Skins, who is also a regular channel contributor. You can find links to their YouTube channels also in the video description. If you do need any additional help, don't worry, you can also dive over to my Discord channel, which is completely free, and we'll obviously be sure to try and help you out there too. A like and subscribe is always welcome. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.